the streets or dive in the ocean deep. Whether it's winter or spring, whether I cry or sing, oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. My soul remembers your love when the world is bearing unbearable pain. My soul remembers your love shimmering over us, a rainbow rising after the rain. Whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the streets or dive in the ocean deep, if I'm alone or in a crowd, feeling humble or proud, silently sulking about or laughing out loud, whether I'm right or I'm wrong, standing timid or strong, wherever on earth I belong. And when my last breath is gone, whatever I do, whatever I see, safe in your arms I'll be. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place, such a holy place. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God, blessed a holy place, such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, God, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, I'm through hoping against
Good morning. Welcome again. My name's Ann Young, and I get to be the Sunday service leader for today. And so I'm so glad to see all of you here, and we also welcome those who are with us vibrationally as well as in spirit on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, and we know right now that it's a wonderful experience that's unfolding for all of us today. So our musician, Rebecca Vincent, will open our service with song. Wonderful way to start the service. And the next thing we do when we start our service is pray. So we'll ask our Reverend Betty Martin Lewis to pray in our service.
Okay, I invite everyone to just gently close your eyes if you like and relax into the flow of oneness. Know that we are one in God. God is in us. and that all of us are interconnected. Every living, sentient thing on this planet in oneness. And so we come together to remember who we really are. That we are awesome human divine creations of the God Most High. That we are spirit incarnate. And we are so grateful to be together to help remember this as we live our lives. So we come with feelings of abundance and joy and peace and love, and remind each other that life is good, God is good, all is well. And holding this in our hearts, we say thank you, thank you, amen and amen, and so it is.
And Reverend Betty will be back with our talk in a little while. It's called Who Loves Ya? Don't miss it. So I'd like to introduce our prayer chaplain. She's in the back, Dee Mitchell. And Dee will be available to pray with you after service right in this room. I love that the lights are on. We can actually see what we're talking about. It's just next to the kitchen, and Dee will be there, and she's ready and eager to pray with you for anything that is on your heart, joy or challenge, anything. So prayer is an essential unity practice. So that's why we make a big deal of letting you know where you can get somebody to pray with you when you come on Sundays. So let's see. There are announcements on the website, and there are announcements in the email, the weekly e-blast, so I'll refer you to those. Reverend Betty has an in-person announcement.
Yes, we're going to start what we call a prosperity challenge. The board would like us to continue to think about how do we raise our prosperity consciousness. And we're just not talking money, we're talking living a fulfilling, abundant life. That's what prosperity is. And so we challenge you to come up with your own definition of what it means to you to live a prosperous life, a fulfilling life, to really walk in the truth that we are all one in spirit and that God is always providing. And so in the month of June here, every Sunday following now, today and every other Sunday in June, I guess there's 2 or 3 more after this one, and we'll come together if you are willing to join this Prosperity Challenge for about 15 minutes after the service, and we'll do an orientation of what that means. And it's not a class, it's actually a challenge to practice the principles of prosperity in the month of August as kind of running an experiment together. And we welcome all of those online to join us in that as well. So we'll have an online orientation on the 29th of this month on Zoom, and you'll find details on the website and in the e-news that comes out every week. And again, it's just something you can do to raise your own personal level of being aware of the abundance all around you, and then practicing these prosperity principles. So we hope that you will join us, and the board is setting a goal to say, let's get at least 30 people engaged to try this out and experiment with us. And then in August, we'll invite whoever would like to share some of their experiences. And these will be very simple things, like you set a goal for something that you would like to set an intention of manifesting in your life. Something like forgiving someone in your life that you might be holding a little unforgiveness, or putting together an intention to take a trip you've always wanted to do, and you begin to get a plan together, and you envision what it's going to look like, and you get ready to buy the tickets, and you make a little plan for that. And so it's something you desire or have always wanted anyway. So it's not going to take extra time, extra effort. It's just in the flow of your life how you would bring to the forefront of your awareness that the prosperity principles work and will help you create the life you desire. Okay, so that's what it's about. And if you are interested in a little more, stay after the service for about 15 minutes. Thanks.
So the rest of June, after the service, we'll have little information, orientations. The month of July will be our practice, and the month of August, celebrate and share. Okay. So now I'm going to ask Cole Yarborough to come up and read the daily word for us.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Nope. Is that one not working? I'll try that one.
You probably have to stand here. I think they might fight.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Hold the mic to your mouth.
Okay.
Way up. Yeah.
How about this? Okay, so daily word. Pray for others. In love and faith, I pray with you. The scripture this morning is Matthew chapter 18, verse 19. Again, truly I tell you, if two of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. I am honored to pray with others, and I am grateful when others support me in prayer. When praying hearts and minds are joined, the power of prayer is multiplied. My partners in prayer may be in the same room or far away. We may be close friends or strangers. The power of prayer transcends what mere words can express. So we need not even speak the same language. We share the heart's language of love and faith. Although the appearance of sickness, a perception of lack or insufficiency, or interpersonal discord may have prompted us to pray, we set the concerns aside as we say yes to the wholeness, abundance, and harmonizing love that are blessings in our lives and in every life. Thank you. Amen.
nice to have you with us, Rebecca. That was beautiful, beautiful. And you hardy souls who made it out in the rain to come to service this morning, you are blessed, all of you. And all of you online, we're so glad you're there. And we send our love out to you as you join this beautiful circle of ministry and beautiful souls. So we're grateful to be together. And my talk is in part of the theme that we're having for this month, which is self-care, self-compassion. So I called this one, Who Loves Ya? Who loves you? Jesus' only commandment that was left for us is love our God with all our hearts and minds and soul, love our neighbors, and love ourselves. And yet, one of the greatest causes of human suffering is that we tend to forget that the very love we seek is in us. And so there's so much suffering in the world because people don't even think of self-care or self-awareness or self-compassion. How many of us just keep beating ourselves up for making mistakes all the time and overreacting, when somebody, glances our way and we're concerned and take it seriously that maybe what their behavior was our cause. We take on the blame so much. But love is a basic human need. And when we're feeling unloved and unlovable, then we start feeling separate from God and from other people, and really even from ourselves. And this is really an experience we're just creating in our mind. It's not the truth, we know, because the truth is that we are one, and that we are loved beyond measure in so many ways. And more than that, because we are of God, in God, who is the essence of love, that we too are this amazing expression of love. And we need to make sure we're focusing it towards ourselves so that we feel anchored in love. And only then can we really authentically love others. So if we don't have self-love, we're actually stopping that expression of divine love from being expressed through us and out into the world as us. We cut off the awareness of God's love, and we make it very hard for others to love us when we're in that spiral downward. So lack of self-love creates a breeding ground in our heart where fear and anger and envy and hatred can just grow. It's like a petri dish that all these negative emotions then can take hold of us. And this is the very way that wars begin. And so we need to address, if we have a war within us, to find peace, find love, find that center of caring and love and compassion for ourselves. And loving ourselves is not just a one-time event. You go to that great, vacation and remember what that feels like when you're just away from the busyness of life and you're nurturing yourself and whatever, but you get back into the busyness and it's just like you never left your day-to-day life. So we have to continuously nurture in the same way that we would nurture love for others. In any relationship needs tending, right? So we need to tend to ourselves with self-love through awareness and attention and loving behavior. And And that's what we're going to focus on a lot the next time I come. What does it look like that we're doing loving behavior and self-care for ourselves? We have to set an intention and really be aware and show ourselves the same attention and compassion that we offer others. And so I just ask you to think for a moment, do you treat yourself as well as you treat your best friends? Are you gentle and kind and loving to yourself? Do you regularly make time to go to some kind of happy place, within or physically, out in nature, a place where you feel safe, where you feel a sense of belonging? All of us need a sanctuary of some sort. We create whatever that is, that happy place. It could be at home, a special place that you create for yourself that's, your favorite chair, and then you just surround it with the right kind of, almost like an altar, a sanctuary that you're going to be there when you want to take care of yourself. Or maybe it's out in nature. And you are so blessed. I live south of here near Tampa, and I just always love the way that Gainesville area and the counties up here really respect nature, and the amount of beautiful, park space and places you can go with the gardens nearby and the trails and just be in nature. And even this beautiful property here, is a beautiful, place that we can go sometimes. So, and sometimes just, if you appreciate art, going to a museum. If you're feeling alone at home or lonely, go out and be somewhere that brings you joy, or be at home and bring yourself joy. And the other way of treating yourself special is to give yourself little special gifts once in a while, right? When's the last time you bought a special treat just for you? I was browsing Amazon books around this subject, and I saw one that the big title, this might be R-rated, but it said, "Buy yourself the effing lilies." That's the name of the book. And you can relate to that, right? How many times have you denied the effing lilies? How many times have you denied yourself a little pleasure that, $5 sometimes can bring you joy, and yet sometimes we're the last to buy for ourselves? And do you engage in activities that bring you fun and joy, some creativity, or, being with your children or grandchildren, spending time with your friends, all of that kind of thing. And then appreciating your body temple, whatever that means in terms of really, really paying attention to your body and nurturing it. For women, sometimes that's a big bubble bath. I mean, what's the last time you had a bubble bath? In fact, I don't even know. I haven't even bought any bubble bath in a long, long time. So I should learn myself. That would be a wonderful thing to do. But I do love massages, right? And so for some of you, that's a way of caring for yourself, having regular massages, and certainly healthy eating. Just being aware of how you're treating what's going in your body temple. It is a sacred space, your body temple. And so sometimes, just allowing yourself special treats to eat. If you're normally on a very strict diet, then just maybe once in a while, some treat. So it's up to you, finding some ways to nurture and love and show appreciation for yourself. There's a book that was written a while back called Sabbath. Has anyone read that book called Sabbath? And there's some wonderful ideas there, because Sabbath is really just taking time apart. Of course, it's the ancient Jewish tradition of taking that day of Sabbath where you just commit to your spiritual life and focus on God. But the point that author makes, Wayne Mueller, is that you can have Sabbath any day of the week, any time, and you can have little Sabbaths along the way. He says that in the business of modern life, we have lost the rhythm between doing and resting, working and taking time apart. All life requires, he says, a rhythm of rest. And there's really an inherent nature in our bodies between, the waking and sleep, the day into night, see the rhythm, the night into morning, the growth of spring and summer, and then balance that by the dormancy of fall and winter. There's a rhythm in nature, the tidal rhythm among the waters of the earth, the conversation, he says, between the land and the sea, the balance. And see, he says, in our bodies, the heart rests between beats, and the lungs rest between the inhale and the exhale. But we have lost the essential rhythm to intentionally take rest during our day. And actually it is an epidemic that it's all the media would say that Americans have sleep problems. I mean, it's a huge problem in this country with people getting the right amount of just sleep at night. The 8 or 9 hours that we all need and deserve, but how many of us regularly have a sleep schedule that we can stick to? And he says, as a culture, we have created this valuing of accomplishments over rest. Again, it's doing over being. And so rest allows us to refresh so that we can be who we've come here to be, the spiritual beings that we are. And in the culture, doing is more important than being. And I saw some evidence of that. We've had some very stressful weeks with all of these mass shootings that just are impossible to understand, how can this be happening? That's how I react to it, and with outrage, really. We all are feeling some stress of that, but what really spoke to me is, and I don't always agree with the media, finding some of the parents of the victims or whatever and interviewing them. Sometimes that's the raw moment of grief, that we're seeing, and yet it does bring it home to us, But what I notice is that when there's an interviewer, with a microphone in front of somebody who's just experienced this horrendous grief, one of their babies has just been shot, and they start crying, they apologize. They apologize for their grief. Let's be a nation that honors grief. And let's be people who know when it's time to grieve, take time to grieve. See, we have this implicit belief, this bias that we're supposed to tough it out and well, the British, what they say, stay calm and carry on, the British would say. And so we have that ethic about us that we're supposed to not show our emotions, right? But that's part of self-care. Don't bottle up your emotions. When you're sad, cry. I think back to when my husband passed, I was so grateful that I had learned that lesson, that I allowed myself to cry, because I worked for 25 to 30 years in a corporate setting where you never let them see you sweat and you never let them see you cry, especially as a woman, right? I learned that. And yet, I was so grateful I allowed myself to grieve, because then you go through the grief as opposed to bottling it up, and it's going to take you longer to get through that period of time. So we need to be kind to ourselves and gentle with ourselves, no matter what we're feeling, to just be with that experience and know that God is still there through anything we're going through. And we have to trust that in this greater world, this trauma that we're experiencing as a nation and as a culture and as global humankind. You know, the shift is happening to all around the earth here. The whole human family is experiencing this shift. And we have to just not resist it, but walk through it with grace and love and allow ourselves to be authentic through it and then care for ourselves. You know, when we are grieving, if we need to take time apart and be in our grief, or maybe we want to be with others. Everyone's going to be different in what their needs are in dealing with difficulty. And so this is about self-care. We need to attend to our body, mind, and spirit as we are doing self-care. And there's a woman researcher at the University of Texas, Kristen Neff, who writes a lot. She has done a lot of research on self-care. And she says there are 5 steps to this idea of self-care. And she has written a book and has done a lot of research on this with people in a very recent time frame. So the first thing she says is continue to explore what makes me happy. You know, when I talked about our happy space, you know, find out what really makes you happy. What sparks your joy? What feeds your soul? And, you know, some people do a little practice of writing those things that make them happy on little slips of paper and put them in a box or a bowl or something and pull them out. If they're in a kind of a funky mood, they pull one out and then have to go do it, you know, like it's time to go get a massage, or it's time to go bake a cake. It brings you joy to cook. Some people love to cook, and so you pull out a little thing from your box and go do it. So that's one little possibility of something that could bring you happiness in the moment when you want to move out of something, or you recognize that you're beginning to fall away and feel that disassociation, that separation. The second one is just really understanding and acknowledging that if you hear your thoughts judging yourself, it's not healthy. So catching yourself when you're criticizing yourself. And you know that voice, right? You know your little critic's voice. Betty, why did you do that? You just hurt that person's feelings, I'm sure. Whatever that little critic does, you know. And if you did hurt somebody's feelings, then you can take the choice to go apologize, you know, if you could hear the voice, you know. So listen to that voice within. And if it starts sounding judgy and whatever, then you just recognize that's not healthy. That's not healthy. I'm not going to go down that path. And you listen then for the still small voice of spirit to guide you in what to do next, whatever that is. And then the third thing she suggests is to release the belief that you have to be perfect. And you know, that is something in all of us, that we have this desire to be perfect, and we don't need to be fixed. And we don't need to fix others. You know, those are things that she's found through her research, that people who give themselves self-care have said they've gone through these steps and they have learned to deal with them. So I was thinking of, there's an old Unity song some of you may have remembered, and I only remembered after I finished thinking about this talk, and it's called I Love Myself the Way I Am. Does anybody remember that one? And the lyrics, I'm just going to read the first verse of the lyrics. It's, I love myself the way I am. There's nothing that needs to change. I will always be the perfect being. There's nothing to rearrange. And here we're talking perfection in spirit, right? I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can, and I love myself just the way I am. And so that's what we have to adopt as our mantra. I love myself. And I've said this one before, so you probably heard it. Do the mirror test in the morning or in the evening, whenever. Look right in the mirror at you and say, I love you. I love you. And then notice what thoughts come up, what feelings come up. And of course, if they're negative, judging, critical feelings, then you want to deny their power over you. We know how to do that. These thoughts have no power over me. I am a beautiful spiritual being. I am amazing. I am smart. I am, and say all the things you know you are. Claim your spiritual gifts and love yourself the way you are. And the fourth one is treating yourself with the same attitude and behavior you'd give a good friend, which I already talked about. And so that's a good frame of reference. And number 5, to recognize that self-love is a process. It's not just a one-time emotion or event. It's a journey of discovery, intention, and practice. And it's just like the love in any relationship. It must be nurtured, has the potential to grow beyond what we can imagine. And so we can start right now by appreciating the amazing creation that we are. We can acknowledge we deserve love, that we are loving beings, that we are the essence of love. So, who loves you? Can you say, I do? Who loves you? Who loves you? Blessings. All right. So we're going to hear another beautiful song from Rebecca taking us into meditation. filled with love, light, peace. We feel satisfied. We feel complete. We love ourselves, knowing that having that firm foundation of self-love, we can love others more authentically, more deeply. And we are more lovable to others. And so in your mind's eye now, imagine yourself getting ready for your day, just waking up and coming into daily consciousness, and before you start your routines, you go in to look at yourself in a mirror. See yourself standing before the mirror now and viewing your own face reflected back to you. And for a moment, just place your attention on your heart space, knowing that is the sacred space where love resides. And see the image of your own face reflected there in your heart. And spend a moment now in the silence just loving that image and loving yourself. Sending yourself positive, gentle, loving thoughts. Appreciating everything about you. That you have, something you know that is a direct reflection of your God self, your Christ self, your higher self. Just a word that you can claim as your I am. And hold that word in your mind. And set the intention to repeat that word to yourself and claim it as yours, and let it be expressed through you this week as you go forth in your daily day activities. So you may have a word, I am intelligent, or I am beautiful, or I am wise, or I am strong. A word that reminds you of your divine connection, your divine power. And we give thanks for all of our divine gifts. And as we love ourselves, we remember that we are lovable and that we have love overflowing within us. That fountain of divine love is unending, unlimited, beyond our imagination. And we send that love out now, out into the world, into the thought cloud of human mind that circles the globe. We send out this love to all of our human family. We say thank you, God. Thank you, God, that we are loved. Amen and amen. So it is.
Just want to say thank you to our stream team. I forgot to introduce them. There's our own Steve Greeno, and we're really happy that we now have Shirley Mogensen. See your hand? Thank you, stream team. So at this time, we embrace the principle of giving as a spiritual practice. So you're invited to take your love offering in your hand, or imagine it if you've already given electronically or already placed it in the basket. And we'll bless the offerings. We don't go around with a basket anymore. We just have one by the door. So we'll bless our gifts, knowing that as we give, our blessings are multiplied. So repeat after me. Divine love, expressing in me, through me, and as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Let us now give thanks for the continued growth and prosperity of our beautiful ministry here at Unity of Gainesville. So hold these words in your heart as I read them. Unity of Gainesville, Florida is richly blessed and in the flow of universal abundance. We give thanks that just the right people with loving hearts and skills to help us grow are attracted to join us. We accept the good that enriches us and all with whom we have contact. We are prosperous, loving, healthy, joyfully co-creating an abundant life, and so it is. So now we will sing in the children. Miss Gwynn and at least one.
About our power of imagination today, and I thought I was going to trick Isabel. Never try to trick a 6-year-old. I would draw the blue line, and she would finish the picture of what she saw. She said that was Olaf's nose, but she didn't think I drew Olaf too well. Then I drew looks like a C, and she made a cat. And then we got trickier. I drew a straight line, and she said, that's a box. And an X was a star. And I made a wiggly line, and she said, oh, well, that's a walking cane. So all she did was put the little thing on the bottom to keep you from falling. And then I drew the straight line, and she said, that's a B. So we talked about how our power of imagination makes our world better, how somebody decided they could fly like a bird. And she said her dad has a car that on a straight line, he can take his hands off the wheel and it'll drive itself. Who knew? He did what? Oh, that was his rental car? Oh, it was his rental car.
So now let's bless our children. We see Isabel as representative of all the children that have ever come into this room and all the ones that are going to come back again and the ones that haven't gotten here yet and all the children everywhere in the world. So rub your hands together, get some good energy going, and you can repeat after me. We'll do it call and response. Children, we love you. Children, we love you. We bless you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We see the Christ presence in you. We see the Christ presence in you. And we see you doing wondrous things. And we see you doing wondrous things. Together, we love you. We love you. We really, really love you. Mwah. Yay, children. So now it's time for our closing. If you'd like to stand and form a circle around the room, we can maintain social distance if you like. And we'll sing the peace song and then we'll speak the prayer for protection. Wait. Reverend Betty, did you want to remind us that we're...
Yes, if anyone's interested in the challenge we're talking about, Prosperity Challenge, just stay after for about 15 minutes.
And we'd like to introduce and welcome our first-time visitor. Your name is?
Thank you, Christina Gilman.
Christina Gilman. So, welcome. And now, let's speak the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. We're glad you Okay, if you're socializing, hello, hello, hello. If you're chatting and socializing, could you take that to the gathering room so Betty can do her introduction? Thank you.
Okay, can you hear? Can me? I don't know. Is this on? Hello, hello. It doesn't sound like it's on, but. Oh. Okay, so what do we have? 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not talking to them yet, but okay, all right. Rupali, can you help me hand these out? I have a handout for you, so I'm going to just spend 5 or 10 minutes kind of explaining what this is and get the gist of it. And it's yeah, but yeah, and we can always make more, or I'll send it again if you don't have it, but. Okay, this is called a prosperity challenge, and the idea is eventually too we'll be doing some prosperity courses, but we don't have those scheduled yet, the courses. So this isn't about a course. This is about using the principles that we talk about in creating prosperity, using them, and you can take that home to kind of read over. What we're going to be doing is hopefully enlisting about 30 people, and so that's a way that the greater ministry can hold the vision of having about 30 people signing up, which is a little more than our average attendance on Sunday. I thought it was kind of just let's try this out and see if we get this many people to run the experiment, as I'm calling it, so to speak, to test and prove that prosperity principles work. So. We're going to ask you to begin to think of something in your life that you'd like to see more of or less of, or something, just something attainable and achievable in a month's time, something tangible that you can demonstrate, well, I've accomplished this, or to some degree I've set if you have a larger milestone, you set a step toward it. For example, if you want to plan a trip around the world, that maybe the step toward it is in the month of July, you've got a plan together. See, that's a step toward it. Something you desire, and something that really relates to your everyday, and all of you probably have in the back of your head something you've been wanting to bring into your life. It may be even just a divine quality, like patience or something. I want to work on my patience. So it should be something that you can tell you've achieved or not, right? And so you'd kind of say, well, what would that look like if I were being more patient? Well, I wouldn't cut people off when they were talking, or I wouldn't, so that you're making it tangible, so you can say, yes, I've made some strides here. So it could be a quality that you'd like to just underscore for yourself and bring forward. Anybody have any just ideas right off the top of their head they're thinking? Yeah.
Well, what you just said is
Yeah.
like I'm anticipating what they're going to say, and I want to get moving faster.
Yeah. Or okay, good. So that's a quality. Good. And you're going to kind of make that tangible, right? And you're going to unpack it, so to speak, and say what would it look like and feel like, and that kind of thing. And the other thing might be something like, I know I was really bad one time about honking the horn when people cut me off in traffic. You've heard me tell that story. And I just, after a while, decided, all right, I'm going to change that behavior. And I'm going to bless them instead of curse them. Or honk the horn. I actually honked the horn. I can't believe I used to be one of those people. But I realized, when I put my attention and focus on it, I realized I only did it when I was afraid. that when somebody cut so close that I realized fear, because I know the fear response in me, and that's when I would automatically honk the horn. And I was, hang on it, you know, it wasn't just a beep. It was like I was taking my anger out at the moment on that horn. And so I was having automatic response, and I knew I had to stop the cycle of that. And I did it through these principles we're talking about, to set the intention, to envision what it's like when you're not doing that. And so I had to replace that habit with something else, and so I replaced it with blessing the person and having compassion for the person, knowing that maybe their child was sick and they're trying to get to the hospital, or they've got, you know, something they're late for, and knowing that sometimes I've been in a hurry and probably have done the same thing and not even known it. Probably not at the same speed, these people that I would, but I might have cut in front. So you have that, when you begin to place your awareness on what you want to change, then you see, you get insight. And that's God speaking to you, right? So you set the intention, you envision what you want to see possible, and then every day you focus on it in terms of affirmations and denials. You know, I would say, you know, these drivers have no power over me. I control my thoughts. I control my actions. I affirm I'm in charge. I can choose. So I then began to use affirmations and denials, and I sometimes actually even would pray for them, you know, even though I was driving, but I would send a short prayer because I am blessing these people, you know, instead of honking the horn. And, you know, I could see over the course of attending to that, paying attention to it. Usually, psychologists say it's about 21 days to change a habit. So I would just practice that, and it took me probably a couple of months, but, you know, then I no longer honk the horn at people. And if I do, it really means I've lost my awareness, but every once in a while, I just remember just last week, I probably haven't done it in a year or two. And then last week I was going home and the traffic was bizarre out there on the roads. And I did honk my horn once. I did. I had to admit it to myself. And I said, whoops, now I got to focus on that again and remember what I have done, you know, to erase that habit. So it's just, you know, it could be a habit, it could be a quality, it could be an action like connecting with an old friend you haven't talked to, that there was some estrangement, and you're just sending love. You just send love to build that bond back, and or maybe a forgiveness project to, you know, capture an idea for that. Does that make sense? So it's something achievable. Within about a month, you can tell whether it's changed or not, or how you've achieved something, because what we're doing is learning to create a fulfilling life in just a small little chunk. It's just a little experiment that these things work. And so in your handout, I did promise a worksheet, which I'm sorry I didn't get ready today because I had so many else things going on. And so forgive me for that. And I bless you all, because I honestly didn't expect I'd get this many people staying. This is wonderful. And oh, good that you would ask that. Okay, well, just a quick and dirty response to it is you're just you're denying the power of that whatever negative thought or behavior or belief. And so, you know, if I start judging myself, you know, I would just deny that thought has no power over me. I release it, and then I set an intention that's an affirmative. You know, I flip that thought. You know, in the case with me in driving, you know, the honking the horn, I would say, you know, the actions of those people that cut me off have no power over me. I have a choice right now, and I affirm that I am a loving person, and I'm going to bless them. So it's just denying the power. It's not denying it happened. See, that's the thing. So a lot of people get confusion about whether it happened or not. You know, I just deny the power of that. And a lot of times we have to deny the thoughts we're having, deny the power of these negative thoughts coming in, and you just deny it, release it, or you say, I let go of this thought. It no longer serves me. You see, that's a denial. And so that's good. Yeah. So Okay. So, any other questions? There's some other steps, and giving gratitude all the time is going to be one of those. And so there's several steps in the lineup there. And I will make sure all of you get a worksheet that you can use to make out your plan. The plan is, I intend to do this, and I'm going to every day follow these kind of principles, and I'm going to affirm these things, and I'm going to hold the intention for this change. And I'm going to give thanks in advance that it's already done, because I'm beginning to focus on it, and through Holy Spirit, the action of Holy Spirit, it is done. And we're going to see what happens for each of you in a month, and celebrate that, and invite you to celebrate. Does that make sense to everybody? And again, it will help you to have a little worksheet so that you're actually writing out your intention, and we'll make sure you get that, okay? Any questions? Any other thoughts?
So we'll have another little meeting like this next
Every Sunday coming up, we're going to do this. Yeah, in June. And then on your little worksheet, it'll be, I'm going to start this process July 1, July 1st, and every day I'm going to do these things. See, that's what your worksheet is.
And it's sort of independent study for July.
It's sort of independent study for July. And then we're going to have some people being coaches. Like if you individually get stuck or want some advice, I'm going to ask some people, like I've already previewed with some people. So Carla's going to be one of those people, and Ann is going to be one of those people, and Rupali's going to be one of those people. And you know that they're prayer chaplains, and they know this process really well. And Carla's our licensed teacher there, and we've got Steve in the back. Would you help us out too if anybody has a question about demonstrating prosperity and the plan? Sweet. Yay.
I'm
Yay.
trying to reduce my number of cats by one in case anybody wants.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, anything else, Carla? Anything else I should say?
I can't think of anything, but if anybody has any questions by next week, then
Yeah.
I will have
Bring.
your notes.
Yeah, bring your questions, and we'll have the worksheet next week, okay? So be sure we will have the worksheet next week. So, all right, blessings, and this will be fun. We're just going to engage in this and then share. Huh? Oh, yes, thank you all for staying. Yeah, Rupali.
We're actually not starting this now, we can wait.
Right, because you're going to do the plan. You're going to kind of do a plan, yeah, and yeah, so that you're,
Got the idea for me, but
and we'll keep, reminding you with support kinds of thoughts and whatever. So, and if you're struggling with what, again, Ann and Carla, Polly, Steve, yeah.
and on the handout I have, there is a piece that affirms that God is my only source, that would be described also, right?
Yeah, that's kind of an agreement. The pledge thing is an agreement. It's a commitment to yourself. It's a commitment to yourself. We're not going to be collecting them and filing them in the office and tracking you. It's just, like a little, sometimes if you make a commitment, and sign for yourself or what, put it on your refrigerator door, or whatever, keep it in front of you, because the idea is keeping the vision. It's really about holding the vision, trusting, putting your faith that God is with you in this effort. You've already put the intention out. You see, that's what we believe. This beautiful stream of divine order is going to just be with you, and you'll be in the flow, and it will be easy when you're in that flow. And a lot of times we're just so out of it because we're in the hectic time of life. We want to practice how this works and see how it works for people. So we'll keep prompting you and helping you and supporting you, and let's enjoy this. Make it fun, and it's no extra work. It's just something you wanted to do anyway, right? Okay, love you all. This is great. All right, thank you.
And it was under 15 minutes, you did it, girl!
Everybody, I meant to call you last week, but I just didn't do it. But I wanted to ask you, did you want to talk about that volunteer position, or I'm going to call Paul this week and get your thoughts on that?
Why don't you call me? Yeah. And I'm also, the decorating team. Didn't I send you that? No. Okay, yeah. All right, well, we'll talk about that for the sanctuary. Decorating team, that's gonna be a team member too. And do you think you have somebody to follow you with Marjorie as well?
I don't, I mean,
Okay.
there were supposed to be 2 people here today, and they were in the sanctuary. It's not,
I know,
but so, I mean,
But
I'm
just
thinking
call
maybe if
me.
I have my meeting,
Yeah.
I have a monthly meeting, then I can just kind of get them to refocus.
Call me.
So it's not picking up, you know,
Yeah.
it's still new, it's still new.
I know, yeah. It's crazy trying to, I guess we just gotta go with what we
I just didn't want to,
Thank you.
take on something too soon when I don't feel
No.
like this is really able to
I understand.
support
Yeah.
itself. I
Yeah.
don't feel that.
Yeah, and it may be too soon to make any more teams if we can't even get this one functioning, you
Right,
know,
well,
'cause
you know, on a pattern or on that certain level of commitment.
Right,
You know,
right.
so maybe that would be my prosperity. It'll be this team.
we'll see. Yeah. Okay.
You were on my list yesterday. You were one of my people that I listed on there. You know, where we had the list of someone that was meaningful.
That's sweet. Oh my gosh.
Some of your attributes, yeah. So, you were on my list.
I appreciate it. Oh. You know what? Do I have, what have we got?
Anything that was, you know, the really good